Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Yellowfin webinar for what's new in Yellowfin version 9. I'm going to start off. It's 4 o'clock GMT, and I'm sure there'll be a couple of late arrivals, but that's fine. They can join in as we go. So, just a very quick introduction. My name's Richard. I'm the Customer Experience Director for the EMEA region. And today we are joined by both Nathan Goddard and Brett Churchill, who are part of the consulting team in EMEA, and they're going to be taking us through some of the new features we've got in the latest version of Yellowfin 9. As a bit of a very quick agenda for today, we're going to have half an hour of going through and highlighting some of the features, talking about the new functionality. Some of these things do include some improvements to the dashboard tab, broadcasting, exporting, things like that. Secondly, we've got the report editor. So we've got some enhanced text widgets, drill throughs, totals, image formatters, things like that. We're going to do a bit of a talk on the JavaScript API. There's not an awful lot we can demonstrate on screen for that one, but we can talk about that one anyway. And lastly, we've got a couple of things more on the administration side of things that are coming out with the latest version of Yellowfin. Following that, we're going to have a bit of a Q&A session. So I'll talk you through how to use the webinar tool in just a moment. But very quickly, as you go through, or as we're going through, please do use the Q&A tool. Put the questions in there and we'll answer the questions at the end. So in terms of Ring Central, this is it's Zoom, essentially, for those who have used that before. Chat has been disabled. However, as I've mentioned, you will have the ability to post questions at the bottom. So make sure you've got access to that. If there's questions that come up during the call that are specifically related to the item that we're talking about, and we spot it in time, then we might stop and answer the question there and then. However, anything else will be answered at the Q&A session at the end of the call. And if there's anything that we haven't got around to within the webinar, we will then take that offline and we'll answer your questions outside of the webinar. So I hope that's okay for everybody. Okay, right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass over to my colleague Brett, who's going to kick us off with the live presentation of Yellowfin. Brett, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Richard. So what I'm going to do first is I am just going to share my screen. So what we'll do is I'll stop Richard sharing and I'll just share my desktop. So what you should be able to see to start with is my Yellowfin dashboard. I just want to check, can everyone see that okay?
Yeah, we can see that fine.
Perfect. That's always a good start. So what we can do today, as Richard mentioned, is show you some of those key functionalities that we've added in, some great new updates, some new functions, some new formatting options, some new ways to work with your data that you would see in version 9.3, focusing on things like your dashboards, focusing on your formatting of reports, focusing on things like your collaboration options. There's a range of great functions there that we can take you through. So the first thing we're going to focus on, a real key point of version 9.3, is the dashboard interface itself. You might have seen in the previous versions of 9, we've added a lot of functionality, a lot of options there for a user to build dashboards, to interact with them, to collaborate and send them. And we've really built on that here again. So even the first thing we'll look at here, if we just go and navigate through to our next dashboard, one thing you'll notice is we've suppressed that menu a little bit. So as you look through each of your dashboards, the menu will only be prompted when you ask for it. So when you click, it'll appear. It will give you a range of options to start working with. So something you might have seen before, a little bit less obvious there, but giving you the ability to interact with that menu for any of your dashboards that you're currently viewing or even ones that you aren't viewing. So a little bit of access there to do some admin on your dashboards in a really quick way. And one thing you probably saw when I used my menu here was that you have the option now to export your dashboards. And what we've done is we've allowed you now to export your dashboards into a PDF format. And what you see with your dashboard, using things like the dashboard canvas, that gives you the ability to build dashboards with a very much a free form arrangement, a very much a what you see is what you get style of presentation. So what you could do now with your dashboards, you could say, okay, I want to share this maybe in more of a hard copy format in a PDF. You could go into your PDF exporter. You have some defaults there you can work with, some settings you can configure there as well. And we could then export out to a PDF. And just as a really nice quick example, this is one I prepared earlier. I exported out my sales KPIs dashboard. And basically what you see is what you get there. It pushes that out into a PDF for end users to be able to share quickly and very easily as well. So lots of options there. Get those dashboards out exactly as you see them. Another thing that you probably see on the dashboards as we scroll through is I'm using some filters, and what that gives me is the ability to make use of the Yellowfin bookmarks. You may have seen these in reports before and briefly in our dashboards, but again, we've improved on those bookmarks. If you need a little bit of a refresher on bookmarks, what it will allow you to do is be able to filter down or select parts of your dashboard that are really important, maybe things you return to a lot. Then what you can do is you can create a bookmark based on that. So what you will have is a shortcut to what you're seeing now. It'll be a shortcut to those filters, to those drill downs, to the brush that you might have applied. And you can create that. You can save this bookmark to come back to. But even a little bit of an addition we've added here is you could make this bookmark your default. So maybe every time you view this dashboard, it's going to run this set of filters against my dashboard, showing you maybe the most important business units or the most important products or customers. The ones you want to see first could be run as a bookmark, or you could even push these bookmarks out to other users that you may want to share with, or even make this bookmark the default for this list of users. So here's a bookmark, here's some default filter settings that you'll see when you first view this particular dashboard. So some great functionality there to really save a lot of time and get to the data that you want to see quickly in those dashboards that you do have. So we have the ability to export out. We have those great updated bookmarks. Another thing you might see here on my dashboard at the top is that familiar icon for broadcast. So the broadcast, you might have seen that at the report level. We've now brought that back in for your dashboards. So again, what you could do, you could build up your dashboard. You could then go to this broadcast icon and you could schedule this dashboard to be pushed out either as a PDF, as you saw in the export, or as a link to bring the user back into Yellowfin. And that could be sent out to users and groups against a particular schedule. You could even set failure notification to know if it doesn't run or if it doesn't go out. You've got all that functionality built in to match what you see at the report level. And again, you could even leverage those bookmarks we saw before. So I want to broadcast this dashboard out, but I want to use my bookmark that I created before and just show this particular focus or segment of the dashboard maybe. So you've got that broadcast option there to make sure that your dashboards are not just visible for end users who log in, but could also be pushed out to users who might be more used to receiving their content via their email or as an attachment or something similar to that. So there are some key updates for you if you're looking at dashboards more from the interaction or the collaboration side of things. We've also built in some more updates under the hood with our dashboards, more in terms of when you're building your dashboards. So what I might do is just very quickly browse across to a dashboard that I prepared earlier. I've made a copy of one of my ITSM ticket dashboards. So what we can see here now is our dashboard has gone into edit mode. We've got our nice dashboard canvas with all of our items here that we can start dragging around, building up. There's a couple of things I can point you to here. The first thing that we can do is if we scroll down to the bottom, we've got some combination of charts, text, images here. Firstly, if you're working with your text widgets, so if you're going over to the left, grabbing a text box, dropping it onto your canvas, it's going to be a lot easier to work with now. So if we go and click on our text box, you'll notice that it goes blue. And if I click that again, what it would do is give you a visible cursor. So a little bit easier way of interacting, knowing when you're able to start changing that text, much easier to be able to select key text and be able to apply different formatting, or even on the particular text box, just select the entire text box and have the ability to add formatting against that entire set of text that you might have in there. So really cleaning that up, making that a whole lot more intuitive for end users to work with. Another thing we've done there is we've put a little bit of more work into how you might interact with your images that you want to add to your dashboard. So if we go and look to add an image to this particular dashboard, this interface has been refreshed. It's a whole lot easier now to be able to drag an image onto here, to drop this onto your dashboard. You've got a much easier way to search through your images as well. You can categorize images. So there could even be what we call corporate images, which are pre-created and protected images that certain users maybe can't delete. They're ones that are always there, maybe corporate logos, branding, things like that that could be useful as well. So with your images, what you can do is you can look at those, you can quickly check what they're looking like in terms of their details. What you can then do is just very quickly go and grab that image, drop it across, and you've now got that same interactivity to be able to lay these images out exactly as you want them. So I'm going to drop this onto my little circle and start building out my dashboard in that way. One thing that is particularly useful, I found, that we've brought in with Yellowfin version 9.3 is if you do have an image and you want to replace that, previously you had to delete the image and re-add it, resize that box. That was a whole lot of work that you didn't need to do. So now what you can do, if I don't like this image, I want to change it. If I just do my little click or menu, maybe a right click there on my image, I can quickly and easily replace that with another image, retain that size, retain that placement, swap that image out very quickly without too much hassle. So you've got options there for dealing with your text boxes, having more control over those. The same with the images that you might be working with, being able to do that a whole lot more quickly within the dashboard itself. Or one more thing I'll show you here as well. We do see with the Canvas dashboards, we see a lot of big number charts being used. So maybe you have your key metrics that you want to make use of. And what you might want is a bit more formatting around those key metrics. So you can probably see here, I've got a couple of big chart or big number charts. So if I go and actually edit my chart, what I might want to do is align those a little bit better. So if I go into my edit mode, I can see my big number chart. And what we have added in here, if you go to the style formatting, is the ability to align that left, center, or right. So if you do have maybe text that's above it that's also aligned left, you want to keep that number aligned in the same way. You've got the ability to format that with a left, with a center, with a right, as you need it to be to match the formatting that you've built into your particular dashboards. So that was another small item, but has a lot of value there to make sure the styling, the arrangement of your dashboards is very consistent and you have full control over that as well. So what we might do now, just to show you another change we've made or another update we've made to our dashboards, if I jump across to my analysis tab here, and if I scroll down to the bottom, one thing we have updated in Yellowfin 9.3 is a thing called the text widget. So you may have used this before in a report. So in a report, you have your canvas, and what you could do is populate text in that canvas with values from your data fields, from your tables, from your filters. What we've done there is augmented it a little bit more to make it a lot more user-friendly. So what you can see here is this is a report that I've built. The report is actually a report with a canvas in it. So if I go and actually edit that report, I can show you what I mean by that canvas. So what I've got, very simple table of data coming through. If I go to my design step, what I see is the report canvas. And what I've done here, I've been able to drop in a nice little text box onto my canvas. And what you can see as I've dropped into my text box here is I have dropped in some references to my data. And the new text widget we have is what's called table values. So if I highlight this one here, this widget will allow me to reference a value from my table based on column and row. So here I'm saying this value accounts for column 4, row 1. So I can see that this accounts for 70% of total tickets. And what this will do is allow you to reference data in your tables and within a report canvas, quickly and dynamically populate that. So it's creating almost like a narrative for you using the data that's in your particular tables. And you probably notice if I go and make a quick change to my filters and we apply that, everything is nicely dynamic. I might just change that a little bit more. So we'll see that. So you can see now it's automatically adjusting to pull in those dynamic values and print those out as a nice narrative for end users to start working with. So that's another thing that we've updated. They're called text widgets, and you can use those on the report canvas and bring those narratives through, as you saw, in the dashboards that you can build with Yellowfin now. So I'm just going to save that particular report. Another thing now we can jump to is, again, more from the report side, but they can be brought through in those new dashboards very easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to browse to one of my favorite reports that I was working with before. So I've got a report here that I've built up. What I'm going to do is put that back into edit mode and show a few of the functions that we've brought in or augmented and updated for Yellowfin. So one thing I'm going to show you here is that what you see at the bottom, we've got some totals and subtotals and nothing new. But what we did have is that problem where sometimes you might have a very long table of data and your totals are down on page 2 or page 3. What we've done now is you have the ability for any totals that you've brought in to add some more formatting to those. So if we go to our total formatting, we go to our summary, we can now go and put those at the top of the table instead. So if I go and do that to both of my totals, I'll move the location to the start of the table. What we have are our totals up the top. We can see those first, then we can scroll down to the rest of the data. A very simple change, but it can be a powerful change, making sure that you see those subtotals and totals first. They don't get hidden on, as I mentioned, page 2, page 3, page 89 of a data readout for you. So that's one key item. Another thing you might notice here is that I have a column called image. So with Yellowfin previously, what you could do is you could embed images into your tables. So embed an image you found, get the reference for that, maybe a URL, put that into Yellowfin, and you could use what we call our HTML formatter to show that image. But what you had to do there was surround that image with HTML tags that you then formatted. So it's a lot of extra steps. They're a little bit harder, maybe if you're not more of a technical person or have a good grasp of HTML. What we've done now instead to allow you to make those tables visual very quickly is you can just, if all you need is your URL coming through in your data or as a custom field. What we've now added as well is our image link formatter. So if I drop in an image link as a URL, select that formatter, and what I have now is the ability to show that image very quickly, a lot more easily than you would with having to HTML format that image into your report as well. So another quick way to bring in a visual aspect. You might have seen with some of our Locorio dashboards, we've got some of our example products, we've got a top 10, we've got the image in the table next to those products, a very good visual representation of the data. Okay, so what we've got there are some more updates to how you could format and arrange your data. Another quick thing I'll show you here is an update we've made to our drill through. So originally there was an issue with drill through. If you wanted to pass a value when you're drilling through, it had to be either a user prompt filter, or basically had to be a user prompt filter. So if you did have something like a hard-coded filter, so if I look at my filters here, I have I've got ticket type, hard-coded to be phone or email. That value could not be passed to a drill through report. But if we go and look at my drill through report now, we've made the update with the drill through configuration that I can now pass a hard-coded filter through to my drill through report, as well as a value from a user prompt filter, or even a value from one of the fields in my data set or my table. So a small change, but again, making that a bit more powerful for you for those cases where you might have hard-coded filters and you want to retain that context and pass that through in your report as well. So there's a few things there that we've looked at. With our report creation, you've got your image formatting, you've got your ability to move those subtotals, you have some more expanded functionality there in terms of your drill through as well. So there's a lot there to complement both your report and also your dashboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just save that particular report now. And we've got that functionality built in using version 9.3. So those are some of the key items that you're looking at when you're looking at version 9.3, some of the key updates, that's the key enhancements that we've brought in to really expand what you can do with your dashboards, also with your reports. Another key aspect of 9.3 are some of the updates we have built into the API side of things. So the backend of Yellowfin, looking at things like the JavaScript API, how you reference Yellowfin using SOAP calls and REST calls. So what I can do here, I just want to check with Richard. We have a slide just showing a few of those items that I can talk through. Perfect, there we are. So if we're looking at the Perfect. So if we're looking at the enhancements from more the back end of Yellowfin side of things, what you have are a lot of changes or updates to the API. So if you're embedding content, so a report or a dashboard, so you have that functionality to embed that content. What you now have is the full scope of interactivity with those JavaScript API embeddings. So your embedded charts or your embedded reports or dashboards could make use of assisted insights, full usage of drill throughs, brushing functionality. You've got all that built in now. So what you see embedded using JavaScript API will match what you see in that regular Yellowfin interaction. What we've also added in is an admin mode in the REST API. So again, more functionality, more ability to work with that API directly. What we've put in, we've built in more REST API endpoints. So a lot of work there to build up what's available in the REST API to make that consistent or even exceed what we have with the SOAP API. We've built in some new loaders there to make that process a whole lot easier, a lot cleaner. So things like load report functions. We've also built in improvements to the single sign-on process to make that a little bit cleaner and a little bit easier as well. Just covering a couple of other administration items. If there are users who have been restyling, rebranding, white labeling Yellowfin using the CSS, so going into the style sheets and being able to really in fine detail define colors, styles, fonts, all of that, we've made that a little bit easier for you now. What we've done with Yellowfin is built in variables within the style sheets. So basically, instead of, if you wanted to change that Yellowfin blue to another color, what you can now do is change that in one place for the variable, and that will flow across the entire environment. So I think instead of making 258 changes, you might make one change, and that flows through, makes it a whole lot easier to rebrand, restyle, recolor quickly. And another one that's always a great addition for any security conscious environment is we've built in more functionality with password expiry. So a lot more options there to manage when passwords expire, how they do, who's alerted, allowing security, well, better security and management of access and password functionality within Yellowfin. Okay, so I think that covers all of those key items that we have for version 9.3, those enhancements and additions that we've made. So what we might do here, as Richard mentioned, is we can jump now into a little bit of Q&A. So I think there's been some questions coming through as we've been talking through. So what we can do is we can have a look at those now and provide any answers.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Brett. I really appreciate that. I think some of these enhancements are part of the product roadmap. Some of the enhancements are from customer requests as well. So I think it's really good to know that Yellowfin do listen to what the customers are saying and help to work to solve the problems, and then everyone can benefit from it as a community. Okay, we've got have we got any questions coming through? Let's have a quick look. Okay, we've only got one person having asked a question at the moment, so we'll give another minute or so just for people to put some questions in. If we don't have any questions, we don't have to go through the whole process, but that's okay. So let's start off with Tom's question. Tom's asked, are the improved text widgets and the syntax needed to do that in the online help? And
yes,
thank you. Yeah.
So I can quickly cover that one. Yes, that is. So the improved text widgets, those widgets for the report canvas, what we have done is we've pushed that all into our wiki page. So if you're looking at the Yellowfin online wiki, if you go to the report creation section, it's at the design step, which is the last step of report creation. There will be some extra items there to show you how to set up that new text widget. So that's all there ready to go.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you very much, Brett. And we have another question here. The drill through feature is already available in a lower version. What does it make any difference in version 9? So what's the difference between the drill through in version 9 and what has previously been available in Yellowfin?
I think with the drill through itself, it's obviously, as you mentioned, that is something that we have had for a number of versions in Yellowfin. We've had that drill through for quite a long time. What we have done there is address the issue that we did see with a few clients and partners, where there wasn't the ability to pass through hard-coded filters as part of that drill through process. So we've made the update there to allow hard-coded values to be passed along with user prompt filters that have not been hard-coded. So that's the key change there for drill through, just to give more flexibility around what can be passed as part of that process.
Okay, brilliant. Hopefully that answers that question. A third one coming up is about the password expiry. Are we able to, I know we haven't spoken about or agreed to do a demo on the password expiry at the moment. Is there anything that we can show on that, Brett, or is there anything we can explain a little bit further?
Well, probably in terms of the password, probably there's a few new configuration options. So if you're going to your, unfortunately can't show this at the moment on mine, but I can elaborate a little bit more if that's helpful.
That'd be great.
What you have with your password expiry. So if you go to the configuration section of Yellowfin, you'll have password management there. And what you can then do is you have some more configuration options to apply expiry policies. Basically, what that would do is allow alerts to be sent to particular users. And what that's going to do is do that when it's approaching the expiry of their password. So you set the expiry, and it might alert the users when there's 10 days to go, just to make sure that people don't get locked out. And also that could help to then enforce password policy that might be being pushed out at the organizational level. So just to match with some, sorry, organizational policies that might already be there.
Excellent. Okay, fantastic. Do we have any examples or use cases for the image link formatter?
Okay, with the image link formatter, that is one we've shown in a few of our demonstration videos that we've posted up. We have a really nice example of our embedded ISV environments. So what we could always do is forward that example if you like. That shows a nice example. We have an embedded environment that's using, again, what we call our Licorio data set. So showing sales of particular products. And we're showing how you could use that to bring through those images. So we could always forward that across if that's useful. There's probably a few videos there that we could send that would show how that is working.
And just to be clear, we were already able to have images within the data set already, weren't we? So the update that we've got here is that you no longer have to put the HTML around the link to be able to show that image. Yellowfin now identifies that it is a link, and you say this is an image. This column is an image, and so it automatically goes and puts your HTML around it and presents it back as that image. That's the update that we've made here, isn't it?
That's correct, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, right. Next question is, when can we expect dynamic reference lines on charts? I think this is one that obviously I haven't really spoken about today. It's not as part of the 9.3 release. I think what we can do is take that away and ask the question. I know this is the person who has posted this question is put down anonymously, but if you let us know who you are, we can find out. We can post the question to the development team, see if it's on the roadmap, and we can get back to you with an answer on that one. Okay, Zach, is there a plan to export single tabs in the dashboards? Now, I've actually spoke to a client about this fairly recently. It is something that has been discussed and is we're currently having conversations about it. I certainly can't right now say exactly when it's going to be done or if it's going to be done, but you're not the first person to ask for this, Zach. What I can recommend that you do is, if you the idea for the enhancement is actually on the community. If you go to the community and you can upvote that enhancement. So when it comes to development items and the product roadmap, the development team, the product management team do take into consideration the requests of customers. So I think the more people who are showing interest in certain functionality, the better. Okay, we've got another question here. We are in the process of upgrading from a lower version to version 9 for our clients. Import and export functionalities allow us to import and export views, reports, and dashboards, but the main features get disturbed, like drill downs, filter settings, that kind of thing. Okay, I think what we'd probably have to do, without being able to have a look at this in detail right now, obviously, is if we can take that one offline and we can find out what issues you're having. If you're going from a pre 7.4 version, it might be that we just need to have a look at your specific setup and then upgrade you through the version 7.3 to 7.4 and then up to version 9. So what I can recommend with that one is, if you can request or log a ticket with the support team, I'll keep an eye out for that one and we'll see what we can do to help out. Right, okay, well, I don't think we've got any more questions right now. So we are at 25 to the hour. So we do have some more time, but I think unless we've got any more questions immediately, what we'll probably do is start to wrap up there. So coming up next, what you can expect is we'll get a link out to the recording of the presentation today for everybody who has attended. And what we'd like to be able to do is find out a little bit of feedback on what your thoughts are on the presentation, about what we've shown. It's really good. It's really important for us to get feedback from customers along the way to see if there are any areas in which we can improve. If there are any areas that you'd like us to focus on the next presentation. So we've also got version 9.3 that is due out within the next couple of weeks. Sorry, version 9.4 is out in the next couple of weeks. I don't have any information that I can share with you today about what's coming up, but I am excited about some of the features. I'm just going to leave that as a bit of a cliffhanger, really. So please do keep your eye on emails and the community for updates on version 9.4, the release notes and everything that comes with it. For anyone who's not on the latest version of Yellowfin, please make your way to the portal, portal.yellowfinbi.com. And once you're logged in, scroll down to the software download section, and on the right-hand side, you will have a section to select which version. Now you can see on the top right here, you might not be able to see the image very clearly, but the top item is Yellowfin 9.3.1, and it shows the date when it was released. So get on there, download, upgrade. If you need any assistance with it, then please do reach out to us. We're here to help. We want to make sure that everybody's upgraded to the latest version to see all the good work we've been doing and to benefit from all the features and functionality that we're pushing into Yellowfin version 9. Okay, I think that's it. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining today. Wish you an enjoyable rest of your day, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks very much.